Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. Good morning to you. Happy Mars days. We have a new moon. We'll be getting into that a bit later. We are in the Taurus season, the Celtic tree month of Willow, Beaver season, and Pluto retrograde. Now let's take a closer look at today's astrology. The sun is in Taurus, fixed Earth, representing practicality. The moon is fourth quarter Taurus, fixed Earth, representing industriousness. And then at 10:22 p.m. Central Time, we have that new moon. So imagine that Taurian new moon with all that sense of let's get something done. Let's make something happen. Let's work really hard and then get the rewards for it. We can bring all of that and infuse it into our intentions for that ritual. And if you're wanting to get a jump start on a major project, make the most of this moment. Now, Mercury is in Aries, cardinal fire, representing alertness. Venus is in Taurus, fixed Earth, representing artistry. Mars is in Aries, cardinal fire, representing initiative. Jupiter is in Taurus, fixed Earth, representing practicality. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, representing imagination. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed Earth, representing renovation. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water, representing imagination. And of course, Pluto is retrograde Aquarius, fixed air, representing the need to examine intentions. And our Pluto grade mantra is reflect, heal, evolve. So the new moon, obviously, this is the time when we plant those seeds of intentions. It is a time of renewal. It is a time of beginnings. And so with the Taurus moon, remember to do have some grounded realism. Do reject distractions. Do indulge your senses. Don't attempt conversion. So stay away from online fights or anyone who's trying to get into it with you. Not the time. They're not going to change their mind, and neither are you. So just try to avoid that. Don't try not to indulge in any fast reactions. Not a good time for it. And don't improvise if you do not have to. This is a time of planning. Through planning and hard work do you gain success during this particular energetic configuration. Now, it is the day of Mars, so set your goals into motion with gusto. Aries Mars provides loads of energy, and the new moon, it is just the perfect starting point for these things. And with the 5 planets in Taurus, that creates an atmosphere of steady and creative productivity. So what's stopping you? Get going. Let's move. Let's make things happen. The timing is perfect for it. For today's tarot card, we have the Queen of Cups. She represents the creatrix, the divine nurturing mother, the feminine counselor. So if you find yourself in need of advice today, you might be consulting with one of your goddesses, or you might be going to women of mature years or women who have more experience with you in the matter that concerns you, and just see what they have to say. Go to them for comfort, for counsel, and just to rebalance yourself and to see what's what. Go there first before you go to other sources. And you might be getting a more emotional, a more intuitive take on that, but that is really what the moment is calling for. If you take a more masculine approach or trying to look at things strictly objectively, there's a time and place for that, but apparently it is not today. Today's Celtic Triad reads, 3 things which most profit a person: poverty, sickness, and children. For by possessing them, they gain knowledge of much truth that cannot be without them. Now, how often have I nagged on this channel about how even the disagreeable experiences in our life or the challenging experiences in our life, that they can yield good results, and it all serves a purpose. We just need to allow that purpose to manifest and to make use of it. So we'll begin with poverty. Being poor isn't pleasant. I don't think any of us enjoy the reduced circumstances, and pretty much everyone has reduced circumstances financially from where they were, say, 5 years ago. That is overwhelmingly the case. Congratulations to the exceptions out there. But learning to make do and mend, that is an invaluable life skill. And also it teaches you to practice a frugality. And when you become more frugal and you start to set priorities with your resources, that not only ultimately leads to improved circumstances, but it also means that you have some confidence that even if things aren't ideal, you can manage. And that is a good kind of confidence to have. And then sickness. Nobody likes to be sick. No one enjoys it. It's not fun. But sickness does teach us the process of healing, and it teaches us patience because healing does not occur overnight. Whether you are healing the body or you are healing the soul, that's not how it works. And learning that lesson is very beneficial, particularly as we go forward in life. And then children. These tap dancers on the sanity of their parents. Nevertheless, they bring wisdom. They bring great rewards. I have not heard of anyone who raises children who has raised a family who hasn't said, this has been, the most challenging, but the most important thing I've ever done, the best thing I've ever done. And for those who have a differing attitude, my gods, please do not enlighten me about it. That's not a nice thing. And honestly, I think if you go through that experience and you're not seeing what it has brought you, how it's benefited you, how it has benefited them, how it essentially that this is an important work to be doing in the world, I would submit that the issue is you, not the actual act of parenting. So if anyone wants to come at me, I guess they can. I can't guarantee you're going to be changing my mind. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee that you won't. But anyway, today's magical intention is visions. For that, we have the color gray, the plant mushroom. Yes, mushroom isn't sort of kind of a plant. It's a fungi. It's complicated. But in the context of magic, it is treated as a plant. Then for the animal, we have the raven, and the crystal, we have the onyx. Seeking clarity frequently requires leaning upon our intuitive senses to sort through confusion. And my goodness, do we have confusion to sort through today? It mixes up our heads because we have a lot of contradictory information, and sorting through fact and fiction is a task of lengthy diligence. It'd be so much easier if people who reported information to us were universally honest. But that's not the world we live in. So a lot of times it does fall to ourselves to have to go above and beyond than what we would do if we had a more sensible society. And then also there's a lot of emotional confusion. We're in a lot of turmoil. We've had a lot of really bad ideas infused into civilization over the course of many years, and we are seeing the harvest of that, and it has caused a lot of heartache for many people, oftentimes even ourselves, because even if we managed to avoid some pitfalls, a lot of people we cared about did not. And even though, I tried to warn you not to do that, but that doesn't mean you don't care for someone just because they failed to take your advice. So sorting through all these things that do confuse us, it is absolutely going to require our intuitive senses, and sometimes making a leap and saying, okay, I know based upon the available information that it's more likely that A plus B equals C, but there's something within me that's nudging me to think that, oh no, the answer is actually D. So learning to hone your intuition, trying to get some clarity from more divine sources, that can be very beneficial as we are in this very chaotic time. Next up, our pagan practice, honor a war deity. You might think, well, no one wants to be at war. I'm anti-war. Why would I honor a war deity? It's like, well, because sometimes war is upon you, whether you wanted it or not. Like that line from Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. It just happens. And of course, learning how to conduct conflict successfully, not even just war, but just learning how to conduct conflict in a way that brings the matter to a close as quickly as possible, to where you're not tying up your resources in long sustained conflict. That is highly beneficial. And also having a sense of what's worth fighting for and what's worth letting go. That is a lesson that war deities can indeed teach us. So they are worth reaching out to you, even if you do, of course, have a revulsion towards war, which I get. War has brings around a great deal of misery, but conflict is a reality of existence. So make your peace with it, I guess. What the next thing is that you might contemplate what frightens you and ask yourself the question, how are you overcoming it? You notice whenever I bring these things up, I'm like, okay, what's the solution? What's the pathway forward? If it can't be completely solved, how can you at least make progress? And that's the same holds true with our fears. You might challenge yourself to do something difficult today, resolve a conflict if possible, and of course, meditate, especially if you were having to navigate some tricky waters. Meditating at the end of the day, bringing things back into perspective, calming your energy down. Not only will that improve your ability to sleep and recover so that you can meet tomorrow's challenges, but it does help you see things in a more cohesive light, to where you're able to tell, okay, I think I did right here. I think the different approach would have been more effective there. It just allows you to sort through things and to have a sense of calm and peace about it. Now for today's journaling. It's very contemplative. I'm asking, what do you think is a good basis for marriage? Be as specific as you can, because not getting down to the nitty gritty of these things, that oftentimes is what gets people into trouble and creates problems within marriage. So, really getting down to what do you really think matters for people who are coming into union for each other. And it may be very personal, specific to you, because you know your own heart, or at least you should, and you have a better idea of um, what a good partner would be for you. What things do you think you need to have in common? What things do you think you would benefit from if they were different from you, and how that all works together? Looking at the question from that perspective, um, that can be very helpful to you if you are single and you think that, maybe perhaps one day you will marry, or even if you are married today, thinking about that and identifying the strengths and weaknesses of your marriage and realizing, okay, what can I do to improve things? Because, marriage is a group project, and maybe tactfully bringing some things to the attention to your spouse and saying, I got to thinking about this, and I just feel like we would be better off if we dealt with X, Y, or Z, and then seeing where you could go with that. Again, not being super confrontational about, but just saying, I want us to continue to grow and continue to be better. And as long as they're on board with that, there's always hope for marriage. And I'm talking about reasonable, non-abusive people, obviously. Don't come at me in the comments saying, but this example and that example and blah, 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 blah. I am talking about people of good character with good intentions who care about it with each other and treat each other decently. When you have that, there is always hope, as long as they're willing to continue working at it. That's what I'm saying. So that caveat over, that brings us to the daily forecast. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below, or send me an email at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com, and I will get back with you as soon as I can. But that is it for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.